Mein Name ist Jeremy Collins. I was 12 years old the sky cracked open.
We were in our school library, all 23 of us, rowdy, restless kids from Mrs. Bannister's 6th grade class at Lincoln Elementary, just outside Cape Canaveral, Florida. January 28, 1986. The weather had been colder than usual, the kind that made your breath come out in puffs even indoors. I remember it because my mom made me wear my ugly brown corduroy jacket that morning, the one with the sleeves too short for my arms. We were watching a launch. Not just any launch, the launch. NASA was sending a teacher into space.
Christa MC Auliffe.
They showed her on TV so many times that she felt like someone's mom from down the street.
Regular smile.
Big 80s hair. You just rooted for her. Florida lived and breathed space. Some kids' parents worked at Kennedy. My best friend Eli's dad was a mechanic on the launch pad crew. Eli said this was the biggest launch since Apollo. He was full of facts, said the shuttle was called Challenger. Said it'd reach space in 73 seconds. I didn't know what that meant, but it sounded fast. We were quiet for once, just staring at the TV. At 11:38 a.m., the shuttle roared to life on the screen. The whole class gasped. I could feel the floor vibrating from the launch. That wasn't possible, of course. We were miles away, but in my bones, it felt like thunder rolling up from the earth. I remember watching the white column of smoke rising, curling like a ribbon into the bluest sky I'd ever seen. Mrs. Bannister whispered, "Look, children. Look at history." 73 seconds later, the sky split in two. It didn't make sense at first. The trail curved, then bloomed, like a firework exploding in the wrong place. The white trail forked, separated, and spiraled. I thought maybe they were doing a trick, a maneuver. Someone in the back said, "Cool." Then I heard Eli's chair scrape the floor. And then I heard nothing, because everything in me had stopped working. We didn't cry. Not yet. We just stared. The principal came in, switched off the TV, said the words tragedy and technical malfunction. That was the first time I'd ever heard malfunction, said like a prayer. Mrs. Bannister sat down at her desk and put her head in her hands. That's when I knew it was bad. They sent us home early. My mom picked me up in our Ford Taurus, her hands shaking on the wheel. She didn't speak the whole ride. When we pulled into the driveway, she finally said, "That teacher. She had kids." I don't know why, but that broke me. That night, I watched the news like a grown-up. Dan rather looked tired. They kept showing the same footage, over and over. The smoke trail, the explosion, the shocked faces of Krista's parents. The American flag is behind the news desk. My dad, a Vietnam vet, just muttered "goddamn" and went to bed. But I stayed up, trying to make sense of it. NASA had always felt like magic to us kids. Rockets meant adventure. Space was where heroes went. But now it felt like even the smartest people in the world didn't have all the answers. The sky could kill you too. The next day at school, nobody laughed. Eli didn't come in. His dad hadn't come home until midnight. He later told us there were tears at the pad. Grown men crying in silence. Our class made a card for the McAuliffe family. I drew a shuttle flying through a peaceful night sky, past stars that looked like little fireflies. I remember writing, "She taught us from Earth, and then she taught us from space." I didn't know what else to say. Years later, I got to see the memorial at Kennedy. It was just a wall with names. Names etched into black stone. But when I touched Krista's name, it felt warm. Like maybe she was still teaching. In a way, I still think about that day every January. I think about the moment the sky broke open and childhood ended for me and a whole country. But I also think about courage. And I think about the teacher who raised her hand when someone asked, "Who wants to go to space?" That day, I saw a tragedy. But I also saw greatness. Sometimes they come together, wrapped in fire, surrounded by stars.